Right, we're really pleased to have this brilliant Northeast artist on the show with us now. He's one of our most dynamic and exciting artists, and we've played him loads recently. He is, of course, the very talented Tom A. Smith. Hi, Tom. How you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good. Welcome to Right Here, Right Now as well. Thanks for having you on the show. I think we've got to definitely start talking about the mega new EP you've released. Say what you want. Like I said, we've had it on repeat on the show, and it's been getting loads of love on the show.
Nice.
It's bold, it's confident. I think it's got a bit of real swagger about it too. Is that something you were trying to sort of get across when you're making an EP? Were you thinking of that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first release I've done on Fiction Records. I've signed Fiction Records this year, and I really wanted it to be something that was sort of worthy of that in a sense, and
Yeah,
something that was bold and a little bit more out there. It's, as you say, it has got like a sort of humble swagger, I'd say, about it, where it's quite tongue in cheek a lot of it, and knows it's not really, though it is serious, it's not really taking itself serious.
yeah,
And yeah, it does really feel like a collection of songs that follow the same sort of direction and angle, but also have unique elements about themselves and the production and the songwriting as well. And I try to get as many different styles of my vocals and things like that within it, whilst also giving it a sonic throughout the EP that is regular.
yeah. You say it's always like quietly confident, isn't it? I guess in that sense, like it's quite good in that
No,
sense.
totally, yeah.
Um, I guess is that the meaning as well? I guess behind, or is there any sort of meaning behind the title of the EP? Say what you want. You just sort of saying, shrugging off people's opinions and just sort of being yourself. Is it? That's kind of the vibe you're going for with it as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, if you go and watch our live show now, I'm nothing short of a bit over the top, really, with performance and things like that. And this is such a totally new venture for me in terms of sound and in terms of what I'm trying to put across sonically and songwriting wise. And
Yeah,
it is a sort of, this is what I want to do. This is new for me. And if you don't like it, you don't have to. But if you do, welcome aboard. And like, yeah, it is just sort of have the opinion that you want, but I'm enjoying doing this. I'm having a good time, and it's for anyone really who feels like there was something a little bit out there about them, or they feel quiet about something, and uh, shout about it and be confident in yourself, and you know, make those little nuances in your life, something that makes you you.
that's it. He's got that infectious energy as well. I think it really comes across as well. But you mentioned sonically, obviously, where you're going with it. You've mentioned LCD sound system a lot, especially with I Don't Blame You as well. Um, is that a big influence on the EP? And what is it about their style that you like and you were trying to draw from with it?
Totally, yeah, they're a big influence. I think the big thing for me is that really tight electronic sound within the middle of the mix, but also these sort of human performances wrapped around the outside of it, which gives it such like a sort of janky groove,
No.
which is like I think so, you know, like LCD sound system. And I try to, especially in I Don't Blame You, it's more about the groove instead of the intensity that you'd hear on Fashion or something like that. Um, but also carrying a similar sort of sonic, sort of strangely panned bass guitars that all loads of the bottom end had been taken out and stuff like that, and really making the groove and the center of the mix quite this electronic sound which really punches through on like whatever you listen to it on. But yeah, that was the main thing, and getting those performances out. Those human performances, especially in the guitar playing and the vocals as well, it feeling almost live in a sense. Um, with those performances. But yeah, I just tried to. They've always been a big influence for me, and because I've not really been that good at production until like the last sort of year, I sort of self-produced most of the EP myself. So now I've got a little bit better at it, and I know what I'm doing a little bit more. I can experiment a little bit more with that sort of stuff.
It's interesting you mentioned that as well because I've heard you sort of talk about doing pretty much everything, sort of start to finish yourself with a lot of it. Is that what's that been like? Is it sort of easier just to sort of consult with yourself and sort stuff out, or is it nice to get that sort of outside input every now and then? Is it a bit of a balance?
It's a bit of a balance, Fashion. I worked with, Barry Hyde from the Future Heads,
Of
who
course,
is
yeah,
such a
huge hit.
massive influence for me growing up. He taught me guitar
Right.
at a young age, and obviously being from Sunderland, he is just like an ultimate Mackem legend.
Oh, proper legend,
I
didn't
worked with him on Fashion, and that really helped get that sort of Mac and punk energy out the track, I'd say. And also sat with Ali Chand, who did the first Yard Act record, and he
Right,
mixed
yeah.
it with me. Um, Same with Watt as well. But the rest of the EP, all self-produced in my, my home and mixed by myself as well. So yeah, it's been a fun, different venture. The thing is, a lot of the tracks weren't even planned to be on the EP. I Don't Blame You
Right,
it was literally the day we were sending the tracks in. I was like, can we get
right.
this one mastered as well and put it on there? And they were like, yeah, of course. So yeah, it's been a bit of a fun journey doing it, and totally different as well because as you say, I've just sort of had other producers produce my records for a while. The last couple of singles I did myself, but you know, not to, I think to the level and consistency that these tracks are at.
Yeah, no, it sounds really good, and actually brings up your next question quite well as well, because I know you still obviously you probably get this loads, but obviously you started out really young. Obviously you were still a teenager when you're obviously when you're 21, is it now?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
21.
So I've heard a lot of artists talk about when they're starting and it's like, starting out music industry and a lot of people not taking them sort of particularly seriously. Is it something you've had to deal with at all? And would you have any advice for anyone who's sort of in the same boat as you?
I think early on, most definitely, I was sort of in a sense, it was not by everyone, not all the time. It was quite patronizing sometimes, especially
Ah,
you go and do shows and like they look at you like you've never been on stage before. And I always think sometimes live, being young and like all of us as a band, we look quite young, and we always feel like we go on stage with like people's expectations so like incredibly low, and by the end of the set, they're thoroughly involved and like whoa, taken
yeah,
aback by it, and we feel like we start on like a -2 and we got to get it to normal level and get it up just because of how young and maybe inexperienced we look. But it is a challenge, but I think also in another sense is how much more time I've got to be able to develop and be able to put the hours in and put the shows in. We've done and hundreds of shows now, and as you say, I'm only 21, and I've put 3 EPs worth of music out, and signed my first record deal, and yeah, it feels like that's because of the hard yards I put in at such a young age. And especially over sort of the last 5 years, so I think there's pros and cons to it, and I
yeah,
think most people would still rather be doing it at this age, because, I get to 23, 24. As you know, there's not a lot of money in music, and I've got to start thinking about how much money I'm making. And now, I'm at a good stage now where I can still sort of get by
no,
doing music at this level. But, if it's not, I'm not selling out stadiums in 3 years, I'll have to get another job. But no, that's that. But yeah, as I say, it's a mixed bag. For the most part, it's good because it's just so exciting. We've all been growing up together, being 18-year-old, playing around Europe and all that, and experiencing all this stuff for the first time together at such a young age. And also, yeah, as I say though, there was times early on where it was a little bit patronizing. But if you know you're good and you know you can put the work in, then like it doesn't really make a difference. And if you don't enjoy it, then you shouldn't really be doing it in the first place.
that's it. And it happens to the best of them as well. I've heard some people saying, like Sam Fender or people like Sigrid and that have said recently, like they felt really patronized and they're, look at them now. So I think you'll be on the right
Yeah,
track if
exactly.
you're getting it. So that's it. Obviously, you mentioned Fiction Records, of course, as well, getting signed to them. I mean, they don't just sign anybody. So it must be like pretty decent level of
Yeah.
recognition straight there. What was that like?
It was incredible. Just an amazing moment for myself and my family and my band. We've talked about, I've been doing this a while, and over the last 5 years, there's always been like little moments where labels are interested to say something, and then you don't hear from them ever again.
Yeah,
And these guys, James, have been watching over me for a couple of years now. I'm waiting for the time to be right, and it just felt like it has been. And yeah, I'm really excited to work with them even more. I'm really pleased with how the EP's gone and stuff like that. Made my first vinyls. There they are behind us.
yeah,
I know
that's
we're
awesome.
on radio, but in this, but it's, they arrived this week, and it's just exciting for me. And to have that level of support behind me is amazing. Obviously, bands like The Cure. that Tame Impala, Elbow, Self Esteem, and things like that. Like it's amongst good names, so
Aye.
it's exciting, and I'm just more looking forward to what's next and where it can lead from here. But yeah, what a great bunch of people and amazing level of recognition to have.
Absolutely. So you mentioned obviously the van as well. You made a pretty good start because didn't it sell out in like 3 days or something? Like
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it was
momentum,
like a day
yeah,
and a half or something like that. Yeah, and amazing. It's like I know we haven't done any physical music before, so I think that was a big thing. It's like the first
yeah,
time we have, and but you take that where you can, and yeah, I've got such an amazing fan base and people who follow me around, and are so supportive, and I couldn't really ask for a better bunch. And everything that I seem to do, they're loving at the moment. So it's I feel very fortunate by with all of that. But as I say, put the work in and we do the hard yards. So, you I think you reap what you sow a little bit. But no, they've been
definitely.
fantastic. And yeah, so hopefully we can bring them some more music soon.
I was thinking about it as well. I haven't got a chance to get it on vinyl yet, but I was listening to it. I was like, this is made to be on vinyl. Was that something you were thinking of when you were making it? You just sort of imagine what it's going to be like playing out. Or...
Well, never really been a playlist person or anything. I've always been an album person. I love listening to records.
Yeah,
And I got into some of my favorite artists from listening to some of my dad's old vinyls, things like that. So it's always been a dream of mine to have something physical like that. So yeah, I mean, the best that I've heard the EP is actually hearing the test press on vinyl the first time. And well, one of my guitarist Dylan, his dad is a proper vinyl head, and he's got an amazing vinyl sound system. So we went and tested it out there, and yeah, it's the best I've heard it. So no, it does sound best on vinyl, I must say.
I'll have to get my hands on it as well at some point, definitely. Speaking of vinyls, do you have what a record at the moment that you can't put down, or one that's just sort of you wearing out at the moment? What are you listening to?
It's always changing. It's always it was. I mean, absolutely love that new Wolf Alice record. I
Yeah,
think it's
clearly.
phenomenal. I don't know everyone's thinking that, but yeah, I love it. It's great.
That's awesome.
I need to probably listen to a little bit more music at the moment. I've been so sidetracked trying to sort the CV out and do everything
Doing
like
your
that.
own.
But yeah, I mean, I went to see the Springsteen film a couple of weeks ago, and I
Oh
mean, I
yeah,
was already a big Springsteen fan and always,
yeah.
have been and went to see Stadium of Light a couple of years ago. But I've been really enjoying that new Nebraska Electric album as well. Hearing those alternate versions of those incredible tunes. So yeah, I've been listening to that quite a bit too.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was watching. I haven't seen the film yet. I need to go and see it. But I was watching this documentary. It was like Bruce Springsteen visits Britain or whatever it was, and it was like
Oh
so
yes,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
It was
No,
really cool. So
amazing,
yeah,
cool.
I'm on a Springsteen sort of trip at the moment. So yeah, definitely
Like
like that.
everyone is.
Nice. He's the man and he's the boss. Um,
Totally.
but yeah, speaking of obviously some of the live performances you did, I actually remember watching you. I think it was the Stockton Calling in 2023. I
Oh
really
yeah,
remember you. Yeah, it was in the Ark, wasn't it? I remember
yeah.
you had proper like raw energy and buzz about you. I think it was a little bit like you said though. I think a lot of people like you'd come out. I mean, it was just like 2 years ago. So I think it was like, oh, these guys are like seem pretty fresh. But then when you started playing, I think the crowd were probably feeding off you. It was weird. It was one of my favorite performances actually that weekend. But what can people expect for you from this time around? Because you're doing a few dates, aren't you, for the rest of this month?
Yeah, yeah, we're about to head on to the lottery winners, which I'm incredibly excited about. Those guys are really supportive and such lovely people. I'm excited to be on the road with them because
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the company, to be honest. So it'll be good fun. But yeah, we're going to try some new songs in the set. This one, we got the EP obviously, and we'll be playing them tracks too. But we're going to try and mix in a couple of the new unheard tracks as well, just to keep. I think it's always really good to and I've mainly because like I've seen like Wonder Horse do over the last sort of 3 years, where half of their set is just new, unreleased stuff all the time, where it's like trying and testing the water, seeing what works,
that's it.
and
Just now.
and it feels like I'm on a good writing stage where everything I'm writing at the moment seems to be as good, or if not better than the last. So that's a good feeling and something I'm going to take advantage of. So yeah, there'll be a couple of new tracks in there, but also the ones that bit are on the new EP as well. So there'll be plenty to expect and loads of energy. There might even be a couple of gigs where I don't even play any guitar at all, and it's just
Right.
pure like strutting about frontman mode
Mick
I'm
Jagger
in. But
style, like going
yeah, yeah, totally go pure Mick Jagger. So no, I'm looking forward to this tour. It's gonna be it's going to be great. We haven't been on the road properly for quite a while, so I'm looking forward to, the absolute torment of waking up at 6 in the morning, steaming me vocals and drinking honey and lemon. But yeah, it's going to be good fun.
Just off the cobwebs a little bit, get it going. But beyond that, anyway, beyond this, like obviously the tour you're doing and beyond the EP, what's sort of next year looking like for you? Is there more releases, some festivals, maybe anything you're actually allowed to say at this point? But
Nothing majorly. There is going to be even more next year. I'm really looking forward to next year. I think it's going to be my biggest year yet. I'm always writing, I'm always creating, so there's going to be loads of new music, which I'm dead excited about. Hopefully, some of my own dates as well. But I still need to organize something like that. But yeah, it's going to be a big year, most certainly. I'm looking forward to festivals again.
yeah,
Summer was amazing this year, and getting back on the festival train will be great. But yeah, just keep a lookout. It's going to be busy again, but I'm still going to get through the rest of this year first.
no, you do that first, you get it going. Well, I'd say I can't wait for that. I'd say obviously anyone else listening, have a look at some of the dates that Tom's on tour for the rest of November. Keep an eye out for next year as well. Some big things he's mentioned in there. And obviously give his new EP a listen, see what you want if you haven't already. It's ridiculously good. But Tom, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me. I had great fun.